If you're looking to start an AI agency and you don't know what to sell, in this video, I'm going to be walking you through 3 of my favorite AI automations you can sell to literally any business. These aren't niche specific. These are services that every single business needs. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build them, how to price them, how to offer them, and the whole works. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Joel House. I've built my agency to $146,000 a month. I've had my agency for nearly a decade and I've done 8 figures in sales. So I've been around this space for a while. I know the different niches, different industries, different offerings, and I'm here to help you succeed in the business that's been so good to me. So let's jump into it. So we're going to be covering 3 AI automations you can sell to literally any business. So every business owner fundamentally has the same problems. And this comes down to a few things. 1, if their sales team can't follow up with leads all at the same time, that is, if they get an influx of 10 leads at once, how do they keep 10 SMS conversations going? It's really difficult. They don't like to pay staff to look after the phones out of hours because it's expensive, it's difficult, and you often get accents from different areas of the world in order to cover the night shift. A lot of businesses also send generic emails. If you've ever heard someone say email marketing doesn't work, it's because they're sending crap. And often they lose deals because of slow response time. Now, what if I told you that these problems cost businesses anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 every month? And you can solve all 3 of these for under $500 a month of cost to you. And that includes everything. Now, what if I told you that business owners would pay $2,000 to $5,000 for each of these solutions on their own, and you can implement them all in a week? Pretty cool, huh? Let's jump in. The first one is hyper-personalized cold email outreach. Now, the goal of this is to turn prospects into warm leads while they sleep. So they literally wake up every morning with new leads booked in the system. So the problem it solves at its core is email marketing that actually works. Why? Because everyone gets spammed a million times a day. I know I checked my email yesterday, I counted, I got 27 cold emails. Most of them landed in spam, so they've got a deliverability issue. But when I read the copy, it's trash. Now, generic emails get less than a 1% response rate. If you do want to get a good email, you've historically had to spend 20 to 30 minutes per email to get a great converting email. And then following up consistently is near impossible, and most leads just never hear from you. So how do you fix this? How does AI solve this problem? Well, AI, you can research every prospect automatically. AI will write a personalized email based on their interests. It'll use LinkedIn data, it'll use Spotify data, it'll use their Instagram, it'll use their website, their about page. Whatever industry you're going on, you can target the data that's most relevant to them to get the best outcomes from this system. Now, it sends follow-up sequences that feel like they're human. So rather than just being like, I'm just bumping this message, it's, hey, I know it's been a long weekend there and you're probably enjoying the lake just outside Chicago, whatever it is, it gets hyper-personal. And then you can track and adjust. And ultimately, you can scale this thing as high as you want. 20 qualified appointments per month is a pretty standard offer for a lot of businesses. Results, 20 to 40% email open rates. I'll show you in a second campaign we've got a 57% open rate on versus a 20% average. 8 to 12% response rates versus a 2% average. We've got a campaign running at 18% right now. And ultimately, they save a stack of time. So let's just do a really quick walkthrough. There's lots of campaigns in here, so there's all stuff all over the shop. This is the best open rate campaign I've ever run, a 57% open rate. Now, replies are on the low end, 6.8% reply rate. And then you've got the other tests through here. Now, this is an interesting one, just throwing this one out here. I'm going to run a full video on this test shortly. This is the initial test, and I scaled it out. And that is testing different custom subject lines as an individual variable based on the model. Now, I hid the model at 1 because you can see Sonnet 3.5, Sonnet a Haiku 3.7, Sonnet 4.1, Sonnet 4.1, GPT 4.1 got a 1% response rate, 2.3% response rate, 2.9% response rate from Sonnet 3.5. What do you think this model is? I deliberately left that hidden. They've got a 3.93% response rate. That's an enormous percent response rate. This is the same lead data. So it's a very unresponsive industry, I've realized after doing that test. Now, how do you build the cold emailing system? It's a big workflow. Now, this is why you use templates. If you haven't watched my video that talks about this, at the core, we webhook data, and there's many, many ways to do this. This is a live system. This is a system that webhooks out of a high level. It will either run the data through the initial optimization up here, which will basically say, cool, if there's a website attached, run them through here, extract the information, spit it back to high level, then go and craft your cold email, send it all the way through, shoot it off to Smart Lead, and then send it to a Google Sheet for tracking. Now, a lot of this research we're doing via Grok. If I'm using this for a client, this is mine. If I'm using it for a client, I'll probably research using GPT or Anthropic. Also, Perplexity is pretty good for web research. And then obviously if there's no website, then we've just got to customize a generic sequence here. So if we can't find, if there's no input data in the leads that we gave it, it can't really find input data if we just give it a name and an email. You need to be giving it a website or a profile for it to actually optimize from. Otherwise, it's just going to be customizing a basic sequence. Now, this failsafe is here to make sure that everyone does get an email. And, you know, Grok is basically just customizing based on the domain in the email with this sequence here. So that's just a really quick walkthrough. I'll shoot a whole video on these builds too separately. The second service, database reactivation AI. And this is to wake up prospects. Most businesses have an enormous database they don't touch. Considering that 47% of all leads that contact a business never actually hear from the business, can you imagine what people actually do for the database as a whole after they don't say yes on the first call? It's horrific. Now, the problem this solves is the average business has over 1,000 past customers, not leads, customers. That on average, they've got 5,700 leads in the database who never bought. So 80% of these haven't bought in 12 months. So they're just letting this, people that have already trusted them, people that they've already converted. Now, unless they're a crap business and people don't like their services, people will come back. So considering that past customers are 5x more likely to buy again, you can build a system to reach out to these guys. So the way that AI engages is it treats it like it's human. Most people will run an email blast or an SMS blast, and they'll be like, it's a Memorial Day sale, here's save 15%. And they'll leave it at that, and people are like, yeah, I've got 16 of those today. I'm not even reading them. Like, I get them come through, I don't even read which company it's from anymore, because it's just spam, essentially. Where the way that we engage a database is we ask a question. Hey, Sam, it's Sarah from Sephora. Just wanted to check how everything went with the products you bought from us last July. That's it. Imagine if you got a text message from Sephora from Sarah. I mean, I'm assuming you're a girl here. You can tell I bought my wife some makeup recently. And that we deal with a lot of cosmetics companies, which is just a hint. Cosmetics companies, anything recurring, great business sells up to. We're literally building out one as we speak. Anyway, why does this work? One, it creates a human touch. Two, it leverages SMS for 98% open rates. Why? Because everyone opens their text messages. Now I'm going to have some hibiscus tea. Again, fun fact about hibiscus tea. It is the highest antioxidant drink on the planet. It beats green tea for antioxidants. Each full glass has the same antioxidant content as a punnet of blueberries, except for a few cents. And it's got as much vitamin C as 2 oranges. So really, really healthy stuff. And it tastes kind of cool. Okay, so how do you sell this? Look, when you are selling it, you want to sell with real results. And people just run their own math. So on average, past buyers will be reactivated at a 12% rate. Dead leads, that is people that never bought, they'll be reactivated at a 5 to 7% rate. If you get any less than 5 to 7%, what you're dealing with is Facebook lead ad data or scrape data. If someone actually came to a website via any form of inbound, that is, they either came from organic social, they came from proper Facebook ads, not Facebook lead ads, or Google AdWords, those leads are going to convert at 5 to 7%. Anything less than that, and you can tell it's rubbish data, just go back to the client, be like, hey, did you get your data any one of these ways? They'll say yes. And you go, cool, that's why it's not working. And on average, clients get a 12.7% ROI. So quick walkthrough. This one's not as a quick. I'm just going to skim it for you. So at the core of this build there is 4 N8N instances. So, and I'll also show you a quick, easy way at the end. Not as good, but it's a quick and dirty, easy way. So at its core, we webhook data through. You send people into an automation in Go High Level. You'll notice I like building automations on Go High Level because Go High Level is a really great core infrastructure to run things from. It's got great webhooks. It's got great data management, great tagging, a really easy SMS and email integrations, and it's also a really easy tool to get reports out of. So webhook into an AI agent. The AI agent will basically run the full conversation. You want to run a OpenAI or Claude model. I think for this one, we're using GPT 3.5 or GPT-4 preview. You don't need to spend the most expensive models. Like you don't need to use Sonnet 3.7 or Sonnet 4. And then depending if the client says goodbye or not, if they say goodbye, it means, also if the agent says goodbye, it's in the prompt, and I'll do a full video on this at some point. The prompt basically says if someone's getting angry, say goodbye, it'll feed them back in. Now, AI moderate, you want to be moderating the conversation, so this conversation actually fires between each message. Why? Because it's a much more predictive way to moderate the chat. See if people are pissed off or not. And then based on the outcome, it spits them back to high level. Then you want to be running a custom fields. I mean, this isn't necessary. This is depending on how we extract data. This essentially extracts the core qualifying criteria. So if you're doing, let's say, an e-commerce reactivation, you don't need this. You just send them a discount code. But for this, this one was set up specifically for a real estate company, and they wanted to find out what time frame someone was looking to invest in property, and also how much money they had to invest in property. And that was one of the factors that determined the priority levels and the offerings that they're going to sell on the phone. So that's why we extract in custom fields. And then reach back out. If someone says, call me in 6 months' time, again, this just spat data back to high level to send them into a delay automation to then spit them back in 6 months later. Now, you can, this is a very small high level account, you can actually, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to jump into mine here. You can actually play with some of the features in here. So if you come into Go High Level, you can actually play with the conversational AI. I don't use this very much, but you can use this to reply to inbound messages. Now, notice it says inbound. There is ways to tag leads and send them through a conversational AI. So that actually reaches out. You just need to get them set like that. So this section, very simple. You'll get 60% of the way there, maybe 70%. Over time, I'm sure high level is going to get this up to 95% as good as a custom build. But right now, I wouldn't stress about it. This is actually supposed to be number 3. Number 3, AI after hours appointment setup. At the core, this problem that this solves is that between 60 and 80% of leads contact businesses out of hours, and voicemail is essentially a lost opportunity. You see, if you follow up with a lead within the first 5 minutes, you are 4 times more likely to close that lead. And if a lead is going to voicemail at 7:30 at night, that lead is simply not going to close. Or if they do, it's going to be a race in the morning to see who can get them on the phone first. So that's an enormous leak in most businesses. And the best thing to do with AI is to plug leaks. It becomes such a profitable solution for people versus trying to rebuild systems. Now, web forms, just to give you an example, if you inquire with, let's say, an accountant firm on Friday night, if you're a business owner, you finish your week, you go, crap, I need to get a new accountant. You fill out a form on a Friday night, they will sit there until Monday morning. By Monday morning, that business doesn't even remember who the hell they contacted. Where, if AI, instead of getting a voicemail, you got a AI voice assistant that asks some more details from you and, let's say booked you in for a meeting on Monday and put it into your calendar and sent you a reminder SMS on Sunday night and said, hey, just a quick reminder, you got this meeting on Monday morning. That's a lot higher chance of conversion, to the tune of 4x than a voicemail. So that's what you do with inbound calls. Web forms, you go through an SMS qualifying. So usually you can book a meeting very quickly. And then essentially you want to have a sales team that's happy. You don't want a sales team that's hitting an office for a client on Monday morning and having to book appointments for the week. You want them to come in on a Monday and their meetings are already booked because the leads that came through over the weekend, your AI is actually delivered. So how to sell it? You sell them on a 100% call answer rate versus the US average of 40%. People, it's already starting to happen, and we'll see it more and more over the next 3 to 5 years, in that consumers actually prefer to speak to AI in a lot of cases than actually other things. To give you an example, for me, I live in Los Angeles. Our house burnt down in the fires here. I hate dealing with humans in the government. There's one department that has an AI. I actually get results and answers very quickly. So just a pretty easy example there. Now, 92% faster response rate to leads versus humans when using AI. You can actually get this to 100%. Some salespeople are just very quick. And then 3x higher appointment booking rate, simply because the leads haven't decayed. And if you're not sure what lead decay is, there is a actual metric. We used to run Salesforce in our agency, and we had lead decay on, which is for every minute that a lead sits there, the likelihood of that lead converting decays. And that's why you end up booking more appointments via AI, even if it's not as good as a human, because you don't have the decay time. So quick walkthrough with this one. Fundamentally, it's the same as the last Android that I told you. The biggest difference is you plug it in at the front. For voice, you can actually, if you want to make it really simple, you can actually use voice AI agents. I don't run these in this particular account, but you can run and build voice AI agents inside High Level that will take the inbound call. Is there better ways to build them? There most definitely is, but this is a very, very simple way of building those. Now, where are we up to? Up to here. So why these sell themselves? At the core, the universal problems that every business has, the ROI is immediate and measurable. Again, if you've watched this channel much, you know I love selling things with ROI. It just makes things so easy. AI work 24/7. They don't have sick days, they don't have vacation days. People can get these entire systems from you for less than the cost of one employee, which gives them a competitive advantage. Now, one of the big things here, there's a quote by a guy called Peter Diamandis, and Peter Diamandis is one of the leading futurists. He put this quote out 2 years ago, and he said, in a decade, there's going to be 2 types of businesses. Businesses that fully utilize AI and businesses that are no longer in business. And that's the competitive edge. Right now, it's a competitive edge. Give it 3 years and it's going to be a standard. Give it another 3 years, and if you don't have it, you're out of business. So pricing, how should you charge for this? So I would charge, and this is what we do charge, a setup fee. Between $2,000 and $5,000 per automation. We charge between $2,000 and $2,500 per automation, and we do a bundle offer. So let's say it's $2,500 per automation. You say you can do all 3 automations for $5,500. Easy. Monthly fee between $500 and $1,500, and it really just depends on the business you're dealing with here. You've really got to feel this out depending on the value you're bringing to them. For example, our client that pays us $7,000 a month to run pretty simple cold email campaigns, there's a huge value upside to that. Where some business, and they can handle almost infinite capacity with the offer that they have. Where smaller businesses, they only want 10 to 20 appointments per month because they simply cannot deliver more than that. So your investment, you can deliver all these under $200 per month. I did the math for a massive database reactivation we did recently. 15,000 SMS costs us less than $80 to send, including AI credits. So it's cheap. You don't need to stress about that. Your margins are enormous. How to get started? Pick one automation to master first. Create a simple demo for prospects. Identify 10 local businesses that need this. And this is a scaled down version of the Dream 100 campaign. Book discovery calls this week and then close your first client in 30 days. Super simple. Sounds easy. Identify the local businesses, call them, SMS them, LinkedIn them, go and knock on their door. Do whatever it takes to get a meeting with them. If you genuinely feel you have value and you don't have any clients at all, do the work. Like, I cannot stress this enough. If you want to be successful in business, you've got to do the work, and you do what others aren't willing to do. I guarantee if you email, SMS, call, and go and knock on their door and send them a handwritten card and drop off a box of chocolates with your business card on top of it, and then call them again, and then SMS them again, then email again. You do all of that in the space of 10 days, you are going to get a meeting. Simply because they love your persistence, and that's how hard you're going to work for their business. There's no one else in your industry that's going to be doing that. So if you've got no clients at all, do the work. And that's it. So on that note, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. These are honestly probably three of the, these are the three most popular automations that we sell in our business. It's all directly linked. Now, we have, and I have a legacy marketing agency. We bring traffic in. So things that help convert that traffic to more sales is a very natural fit. If you have a natural fit with something else, connect your automations there. If you're starting from scratch and you have nothing, these are a great place to start. So as I said, it's been fun. Any questions, drop them below. If you would like me to do a video on these full builds, drop it below. I'll do a full video on any of the builds that you want. So with that said, have an awesome day. See you next video.